telling us that the job market is doing so great?
Because the job market is fairly good. I am an economist. I was tagged in the video.
Everyone you know is being affected by layoffs, sitting on the job market for 6+ months.
This is a really good question. The economy always experiences layoffs. We have a very dynamic labor market. Every single month, 5 million jobs are destroyed, but every single month, 5+ million jobs are created. And this particular graph looks at the layoff rate, and we see that today, our Q4 2024, we have historically low layoff rates. But if we look at the second point, the hiring rate, it's not doing so hot right now. It's kind of back to 2013 levels. And 2013, the economy was not doing great. We were still sluggishly recovering from the financial crisis. Take both of these into account, and a lot of economists, including me on this channel, have called it the Great Stay. Because, I don't know, we got to be dramatic and call everything great. But the OP specifically works in the tech sector. And indeed, the tech sector is not great. This is a graph by Joey Palatino looking at the year-on-year change in U.S. tech employment. And we see in 2024, the tech sector has seen a net job decline. It's bigger than what they saw in COVID. They didn't even have a recession then. Bigger than what they saw in 2008. I mean, the tech sector basically avoided the Great Recession that affected everybody else. But the last tech bubble, 2001, of course, was far more severe. If we zoom into this year, though, we see there is some positive news on the horizon. It's still shrinking, but it's shrinking at a far lower rate than it was, say, in January 2024. And of course, we have to keep in mind that the macroeconomy is so much bigger than the tech sector. The tech sector employs around 6% of everybody. That means 94% of the economy is outside of tech. The original video then goes on to discuss the purchasing power of wages.
Today, that's no longer the case. And a big factor in this is how significantly the price of a home has outpaced income growth over the last 50 years.
So I agree that housing is the number one problem in the American economy today. But that particular graph is a bit problematic. The number one reason why the purchasing price of a home has gone up so dramatically is because interest rates for the past 40 years have declined so much. And because your interest payment is the largest chunk in most people's mortgage payments, we need something that can measure both the interest payment as well as the principal or just rent overall. I mean, look, in the mid-90s, the average mortgage rate was 8.3%. And even though they kind of bumped up recently, they're still below that level. So I went ahead and looked at all the spending people do on housing and divided it by everyone's total budget. We do see that increase, but notice the axes on the left. We went from about 14% of the budget to 15.5% of the budget. Now, of course, a lot of you are thinking, I spent a lot more than that on housing. Of course, this is an average. A lot of people are going to be spending more. A lot of people are going to be spending less. Over the past 50 years, housing has become less affordable, but other things such as clothing, electronics, recreation, toys, furniture, and even groceries, again, relative to 40 years ago.
This is where I would love for the government to change the conversation and use different metrics, like tell us that median salary.
Good news, we do have median salary data. And if we divide that by the cost of living, which would include the price of housing, food, clothing, and otherwise, we see that the purchasing power of the median American worker is higher than it has ever been.